Lord Tremendous here. Got another battle report here for you. Another 3,000 point battle using the Legion rules. This is a game that I got after the local game tournament was, or gaming store tournament anyway, was finished, and it's against the guy. He's up and coming. He wasn't in the tournament because he had stuff to do that morning, so he got there later. He's relatively new to the game. He's only been playing maybe month and a half, but we played a practice game. He's gotten some practice games and some, intro games into it over the past month and a half that he's been playing. And he came up to me after the tournament, was like, hey, I want to play a game against you, and I want you to come at me full force. Don't help me, beat me into submission. And I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yeah. I was like, are you really, really sure? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So we sat down, and he played my tournament list, I played his list, and you guys get to watch and see what happens. So sit back, relax, and get ready to watch what happens.
Assemble the army!
Here's my list, which is more of the same. Vampire Lord, Lord Tremendous on a Zombie Dragon, Level 2 Wizard, Heavy Armor Sword, Anti-Heroes, Enchanted Shield, Talisman of Preservation, the other tricks are Shard, Red Fear, Quick Blood, and Lore Vampire. Next up is my High Lich Priest, Queen Elizabeth, with Level 4 Wizard, Dispel Scroll, Opal, Amulet, and the Laura Nehekhara. Now my hero choices are my Tomb Prince, Dark Vincent, with a Great Weapon, Armor, Silvered Steel, and a Luckstone, and my Necrotech, Sinister Jeffrey, with a Dragon Helm and the Iron Curse icon. My core choices are 5 Dire Wolves, 10 Skeleton Archers with a Banner, 58 Skeleton Warriors, the Fateless, with full command, light armor, and shields, 14 Skeleton Archers, the Queen's Guard, with full command, and 3 Chariots, Rolling Bones, with Musician, Banner, and Banner of Eternal Flame. My special choices are 5 Hexwraiths, 3 Vargeist, 3 Medusa Stalkers, those that gaze, a Chimerian War Sphinx, Kitty! And my rare choices are my Hyro Titan, Nad Protector, the Screaming Skull Crapapult, and my Casket of Souls. My opponent's list is as follows. He has a Glade Lord on an Elven Steed with Daith's Reaper and the Armor of Destiny. Then he has a Spell Weaver, who's a level 4 wizard with the Acorn of Ages and the Lore of Life. Then his hero choices were those special characters, Naestra and Arahan, the good and evil chick, and they were on a griffin, not the dragon. Then he had his Glade Captain BSB with the Sword of Might, a Dawnstone, and an Enchanted Shield, a Spell Singer with a Dispel Scroll and Lore of Shadow, and his Glade Captain with an Elven Steed, Gambler's Armor, Luckstone, and the Ruby Ring of Ruin. His core choices consist of 12 Dryads with a unit champion, 8 Glade Riders with full command and a Banner of Eternal Flame, 30 Glade Guard with Hagbane tips, 24 Eternal Guard with full command and a Standard of Discipline. His special choice was a unit of 9 Wild Riders with full command and the War Banner, and his rare choice was a Tree Man. Here are my spells, which consist of, actually I had Van Hell's Dance and Curse of Years on my vampire, still don't have the cards, working on that. Then, of course, I had the rest of the spells. And these are his spells, and he got the good ones. Here's deployment, and for the most part, I mean, it's Wood Elves, and after what happened in my last battle report against Death Holy Death, I may have been harboring a bit of an anger problem towards Wood Elves. Well, just, more so than usual with elves of any flavor, but in this particular instance, I wanted to kill me some Wood Elves, and my opponent did say to come at him guns blazing, so I did. And I put my dragon behind the tower there just so that he didn't get shot up from under me right away, because I planned on shoving him down the elf's throat or dying in the process. I didn't care. My dragon got shot up from under me. My general was going to charge forward, so that was the plan. Vargeist and War Kitty on the left flank there, near the dragon, just to give them something else to shoot at. Most of his stuff was going to have to shoot through the forest in order to hit him, so it gives me that extra -1, but that was the plan. My Skeleton Warriors, Archers, Titan, they were doing their combo thing. I have my other unit of Archers in the ruined house in the middle there. My Phalapult, which I don't expect anything from this game, and is sitting over there on that hill. While my Chariots are going to run up the right flank there and just try to run into anything that they can. I threw my Hexwraiths right out in the middle. To be honest, I did it to give him something to shoot at. It was one of those, the closest threat to you is the one that's going to catch all the attention. And it also is going to let me know what kind of gear these guys had. Did he have Hagbane? Did he have True Flight? Did he have, the Hex arrows? Whatever type of arrows he had, I was going to know because I figured he would shoot at my hex race. And to be perfectly honest with you, if I lose the hex race, it's better than losing anything else. And maybe the Vargeist, but the Vargeist are going to be better in combat, in my opinion. Also, during this and everything, his general did shoot at... well, no, that's just it. He couldn't shoot because he didn't have line of sight or something along those lines, but he didn't shoot. All the Citadel force that you see are the ones that he placed. There's the ones in the middle and the two semi-painted and flocked ones there. Those are the ones that he placed with the acorn and everything, and I believe they're all poisoned. So, yeah, now you know. Here's my opponent's right flank, which consists of his Wild Riders, and I believe his general is in there, I think. Behind them in the forest is his unit of Eternal Guard with both of his casters and his BSB installed. Next to him is his unit of Dryads. And then here's his center. That Griffin with the one person on there, that is Nastra and Araham or whatever, and they're flying around on their Griffin. There's his Treeman. Right in front of his Treeman is his lone Glade Captain, and next to his Glade Captain in the forest there are his unit of Glade Guard with someone in there. One of his characters in there, I can't remember who. Here's my right flank with my dogs. Oh yeah, forgot about the dogs. Dogs had no purpose in this game, so I left them over to the right because I didn't want to get in the way. But yeah, then there's my Chariot and my Phalapult. And here's my center. From right to left, there's my Tomb Guard Archer proxies. In front of them are my Hex Race. There's my Titan, my Skeleton Warriors, my Archers, my Kitty, and, well, there's my left flank, which consists of my Vargeist, my Dragon, and my Casket. Here's top of one after movement, and I didn't go first. He did, and he did. For the most part, his Wild Riders stay put. Everything on his left flank, more or less, or my left flank anyway, his right, stay put. His special characters on the Griffin fly up. His Captain repositions. His Treeman comes up a little bit, but that's really about it. He's what else? He does not have to move towards me. During his magic phase, I'm able to pretty much negate it, but during his shooting phase, his little pew-pew chicks or whatever, they fire at my Hex Race, and honestly, he just rolls like butt, straight butt, and I lose 2 Hex Race, which I'm okay with. Then, I don't remember what it is that shoots at my archers inside the little rubble there, but something does, and 2 of them die, which is fine. And then we go over here to bottom of 1 after movement, and I move quick. I thought about charging my Hex Race into his special characters and stuff like that, but then I said, screw it, I'm going to go after his Glade Captain that was all solo. He fails his terror check and flees and gets away. I try to what's it called? I don't know, I try to go somewhere else with my charge. I can't remember what the damn word is. English is hard at 11 o'clock at night. Leave me alone. And I fail, so I have to go after him, and obviously he gets away. My Dragon Lord flies up to give the Wild Rider something to charge, because bring it on. Kitty walks up to the forest, daring something to go after him. The Chariots, I decide, screw the right flank, I'm going up the left, or I'm heading towards the middle, because I think things are going to come down that direction. And I think even my Skeleton Warriors and my Archers and my Titan, well, my Titan falls back behind the Warriors, but everything else moves up the 4 inches that it can. So I'm trying to get up there. There's a better picture of his captain running away from my Hex Race. During the magic phase, I get Curse of Years off on his Wild Riders, which does nothing. I don't roll any 6s, so they're fine. And then I get Van Hel's Dance off on my Vampire Lord there and the Dragons, so that when I get into combat with the Wild Riders next turn, I get to reroll my attacks, and he doesn't. Also, during my shooting phase, believe it or not, the archers inside the house take aim at Nastra and whatever, and I actually get a wound through on the Griffin. So that's awesome, because that's the wound that doesn't grow back. And with no combat, we go over here to top of 2 after movement. And there's not a ton. His Wild Riders slam into my Dragon, which was expected. I believe his Glade Riders come in and move over towards the middle there. Not 100%. Other than that, pretty much only his Treeman moves up in front of the Archers for whatever reason. And his Glade Captain rallies. That bastard. Other than that, everything is where you see it. There's a better picture of his Wild Riders slamming into my Dragon, and that's fine, it's time to kill them. And there's a better picture of this guy with the Fairy Wings rallying, because that's what Fairy Wing Elves do. Nothing happens in his magic phase again because I'm awesome. He actually uses a lot of his dice. He rolls low for the Winds of Magic, and he uses a lot of his dice to dispel Curse of Years, which was smart. But that pretty much tanks his magic phase, and I'm able to dispel anything else he throws. And then we go into combat, we go into shooting phase, and Naestra and Ham or whatever get a hold of my Hex Rays and blow them out of the water, which isn't a surprise. And then I believe those rotten bastard Glade Guards shoot at my kitty and put a wound on him, and, well, that just pisses me off. So we go here in combat, and his general issues a challenge, which I have to accept. I actually do get a wound through, he does get a wound through, I think on my dragon, and I'm able to just pulp his general. I end up winning this combat, but they're steadfast and they don't go anywhere. So we go over here to bottom of 2 after movement, and, well, you're looking at it. The War Kitty slams into the Dryads. I'm sorry, the Dryads that were in the forest there. I do pass my dangerous terrain check, which was awesome. And everything else moves up. I'm going after the Wood Elves because I want blood. It's not about winning, it's about killing, and that's what I want to do. My Vargeist move around in such a way that they're in a better position to do, well, what I need them to do in about a turn or two. I don't believe my Stalkers come on yet. I'm not 100% on that one yet. No, they don't come on the table yet. But my Warriors move up, the Titan moves up, the Chariots move up a little bit. You know, I'm just trying to get up there so that if he does come forward or anything like that, because he might try to deal with what's happening on his right flank, our left, that I can countercharge and kill it easily. There's a better picture of... I'm sorry, they're the Vargeist. The Vargeist charge into the flank of the Wild Riders. I'm sorry. I've slept since this game. And there's a better picture of the War Kitty slamming into the Dryads. During the magic phase, my casket goes off on his tree men and ends up doing 3 wounds to him. It then bounces into his archers and he rolls like 3 1s, and then it bounces into his glade captain and he rolls 3 2s. It was amazing. But the bigger threat of the 3, I guess, did take some damage, so that was pretty cool. And I really do like my casket. And then over here in combat, I'm sorry, during this last magic phase, he did get Shield of Thorns off, and it does end up killing one of my Vargeists because, yes, his dice were all over the place. Can't blame the guy for rolling lucky, you know? Then over here, we go into combat, and yeah, my Vampire Lord alone just obliterates, I think, 6 of the Wild Riders. The Vargeist and the Dragon are able to finish everything else off. I take no damage in return. And, yeah, they're dead. And since my, Vargeist are frenzied, they have to overrun, and they slam into the flank of the Dryads, which is a nice little 1-2 punch. I leave my Dragon Lord right where he's at because I didn't want him to get in the way of the Vargeists. And next turn, provided the Dryads aren't really in the way, I'm going to charge his Eternal Guard and kill them, provided my Dragon's not killed out from under me. So, you know, we'll see. Then over here in combat, yeah, all but 2 of the Dryads die. The War Kitty takes another wound, and I believe, yeah, the Vargeist takes another wound as well. I win by a poop ton, and the damn Dryad gets away. In my defense, I did try to restrain with the War Kitty because I wanted the War Kitty to go after the, the Eternal Guard with the Dragon Lord, but unfortunately I rolled an 11, and there is no BSB in an Undead Legion army, because I don't want to take one. But the Vargeist, they only go like 3 inches. It was kind of embarrassing. And the Kitty goes like 7, but the Dryads run like on 11. It was something crazy. And they get away, which was unfortunate. So we go over here to top of 3 after movement. And, well, you're looking at it. His Eternal Guard back up a little bit. Naestra and Araham or whatever, they stay put. The, Treeman guy backs up a little bit because whatever, and the Glade Captain moves up around the front of the Glade Guard. Other than that, everything else that you see is, well, everything else that he has anyway is dead or in combat. Oh, one other thing, if you can believe it, his Dryads, needing insane courage, rolled insane courage and rallied. Oh my god! We were both like, can you believe it? Oh, damn Dryads. So now they're going to force me to kill him, and that's not nice. His magic phase is scrap for the most part, but we go into shooting, and yeah, his special characters shoot my poor War Kitty into oblivion, and it's sad. I'm sorry, War Kitty. can't fault the guy for doing smart things, and it was smart. He saw the opportunity to take out my War Kitty, and he did, and damn the odds. Poison attacks, what can you do? Then I don't remember what shoots at my Vargeist, but something does and puts another wound on one, and that's not very nice. But they're still alive, and so I'm going to use them. So we go over here to bottom of 3 after movement, and the Vargeist charge Dryads, who stand and take it. My Dragon Lord charges the Eternal Guard, who flee, not failing a terror check or anything like that. They just flee. They GTFO. And they don't run off the table. He needed like a 10 to run off the table, 10 or an 11, and he rolled like an 8 or a 9. So he was really close to doing it, but it was a good choice, I guess, because my Dragon failed to catch him. I rolled really low, and just kind of moves up a little bit. Meanwhile, my Skeleton Warriors, my Archers, my Titan, and yeah, they all move up, trying to just close that gap. And my Stalkers come on the table, and they deviate a little bit, but not too bad. And I'm able to stay in range of the Tree Man, which is good because he's the one I want to Care Bear stare off the table. There's a better picture of the Vargeist slamming into the Dryads because I need to finish them off. And there's a better picture of the Eternal Guard getting away from my Dragon Lord, which little frustrating, but it stops him from trying, using his casters to dispel my magic phase, which is kind of nice. Then over here, magic, actually nothing important happens, so we go into shooting, and yeah, my Stalkers are able to Care Bear stare the Treemen to death, which is outstanding. Then into shooting phase, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I'm able to put the last couple of wounds, last few 2 or 3 wounds off on the Griffin, stranding the sisters. They drop to the ground, which is kind of cool actually, because they're not nearly as fast now, which means I can get a hold of them and hopefully kill them. We go into combat, and the Vargeist are able to decimate the Dryads, but they're still frenzied, so I have to overrun, and I overrun through the forest, which caused the dangerous terrain check anyway. But yeah, both my Vargeist fail their dangerous terrain checks, and one dies, and the other one's carrying a... No, I'm sorry, just one fails. I took some wounds into combat, and yeah, one dies, leaving the other one with like 2 wounds on him. It was ridiculous. So yeah, trees. And then we go over here to top of 4 after movement, and all that really happens is the Eternal Guard rally. Naisha and Arlen turn to face the Dragon Lord because they're going to shoot him to death, which is not the worst thing I've ever seen. His Glade Captain charges into the flank of the Vargeist to finish him off, which is also smart. And that's really about it. There's a better picture of his Glade Captain, so I'm going to my Vargeist to just try to kill him. And I'm sorry, he didn't have any wounds on him after that. I failed my dangerous terrain check, and one of the Vargeist who was carrying 2 wounds got the 3rd one and died. So this Vargeist is full up on health, but it's still an elf in his flank, so he does have a problem. And during the shooting phase, during the magic phase, he gets, what's it called? Pit of Shades off, and my dragon goes away. Which sucks! But, well played by my opponent. What can you do? Then during the shooting phase, I think Naistra and Haraman or whatever shoot at my Titan and put 4 wounds through on him. The only reason he's still alive right now is because I regen 1 wound. So it was close. I hate it when my Titan dies, but this one worked out. And then we go over here into combat, and the little elf guy does 2 wounds to the Vargeist. Vargeist does 1 wound in return. But with 2 wounds, charge and a flank to 1 wound, the Vargeist explodes, and that's sad. And then we go over here to bottom of 4 after movement, and screw you guys, I'm going in. My Skeleton Warriors, seeing these special character ladies charge their little hearts out and get them. I think I needed like a 8 or a 9 to hit them. I don't know. I needed more than a 7. I know that, but I got it. So Naistra and Arachman or whatever, they ended up standing and shooting because he didn't think I was going to make it. Honestly, I gave it 50-50, and I made it. So awesome, outstanding, hurrah. My Vampire, who's now on foot, just kind of moved up a little bit towards the Eternal Guard because screw it, I'm going to have some fun. My Titan moves up, my Archers moved up, my Chariots just kind of reform. I tried to swift reform and failed, and my Stalkers turn in such a way that they can Care Bear stare at the Glade Guard because they've got no other targets. There's a better picture of my skeleton warriors charging, and I think I charged his glade captain first, and he fled, and then I redirected into the special characters. So that's why I think his glade captain is fleeing right now. Nothing important happens in the magic or shooting phase. I get a couple of spells off. I get like the bubble. What's it called? Oh, I'm sorry. No, we do. This is the stand and shoot reaction. Nastra and whatever her face is, they shoot and they do like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 insane amount of wounds or something. I think it was like yeah, like 9 of my skeletons die. It was ridiculous. But yeah, that stand and shoot reaction was real pain. During the magic phase, I am able to get the +1 attack bubble off, which is nice, and then I get. Ooh, I can't remember what it is, but I get something else off on the Titan exclusively healing. I'm able to heal 2 of his wounds because I wanted to keep my Titan alive. But that +1 attack bubble, that 24-inch range like bubble of just healing wounds thing is really, really nice to get off on your guy. So I felt really good about that, and my Titan is better healed now, so that's good too. My archers take careful aim and shoot at his little glade captain on a steed, and I'm able to slip the last wound through and kill him, and that's what he gets for killing my Vargeists and pulling my Hexwraiths out. I didn't think he was going to flee, but he did, so, you know, what are you going to do? And then during the shooting phase, the Stalkers do the little Care Bear stare at the Glade Guard and kill 2 of them, which I actually thought was pretty good. Then over here in combat, the Sisters... They get destroyed. It was actually quite fun to obliterate them. I don't think that they actually survived combat. I think I killed them with just wounds. They do like 1 wound, and then I overrun to get closer to the Glade Guard, and that's where we end up. So, with all the fun said and done, we go over here to top of 5 after movement, and his Eternal Guard move up into the forest to get a better shot off at my what's-his-face, my Vampire Lord. His unit of Glade Guard, that big one or whatever, come onto the table finally with the ambush rule, and his Glade Guard just kind of turn to face this. Well, they don't do anything. They get ready for the Skeleton Warriors to charge them. During his magic phase, he gets Throne of Vines off on his caster, which is, well, I mean, what are you going to do? And during his shooting phase, I lose 10 more Skeleton Warriors to the Glade Guard, who are basically point-blank ranging shooting my guys. So, what can you do? Then we go into combat, or I'm sorry, then we go to bottom of 5 after movement, and my Skeleton Warriors charge the Glade Guard, which flee, and they do not get away. I'm able to catch them. That or they run off the table, one of the two. I think I catch them. My Vampire Lord, he, Dragonless now, charges the Eternal Guard and make it. And then my Archers, my Titan, and my Chariot, again, I try to Swift Reform with the Chariot and fail, but I also try to do a Swift Reform, I believe, with my Skeleton Archers and fail, and my Titan turns to fail the Glade, or to face the Glade Riders because I need to kill them. And my Stalkers just, they stalk because there's really nowhere for them to go. There's a better picture of my Vampire Lord charging into the Eternal Guard, and I can't remember if he picked up that wound in combat or if he picked up that wound running through the forest because it was poisonous. But he does have a wound on him, which isn't good. And there's a better picture of my Skeleton Warriors charging. That's what happened. My Skeleton Warriors charged his Glade Guard, and they fled. They got away, and then my Stalkers, because they were still in the forward arc, charged them off the table and escorted them out of the game. So that's how I got rid of the Glade Riders, or Glade Guard. Sorry about that. Nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go into combat, and you're looking at it. His Glade Captain that was in this unit, I don't know if it was the BSB or not. He attacks, or he issues a challenge, and I accept, because it's not like I can go to the back. And I'm able to do an insane amount of wounds to him. With Red Fury and everything, I think I did 7 wounds or something like that, plus a charge. Because, you know, with Overkill, you do 2 wounds plus 5 over the top of that, because the hero has 2 wounds. So I did 7 plus I charged to his 3 ranks, 2 banners, and no wounds. And I win this combat. He's steadfast and doesn't go anywhere, but... Yay! The hunger finally worked. I rolled a 6 and healed the wound that was on my Vampire Lord, so that was cool. And then we go over here to top of 6 after movement, and his Glade Riders, they run around to get a better angle on, I think, my Titan. I think he was going to try to kill off my Titan, and that's really it. Everything else he has is dead or in combat. During his magic phase, he gets Flesh of Stone off on his Eternal Guard, which I was actually mostly okay with because since I have the Sword of Anti-Heroes, I've got a lot higher strength and a lot more attacks, so I'm not overly concerned about it. But it was a miscast 4 in order to get Flesh of Stone off. Yeah, it was Irresistible Force, and he ends up rolling a 4. I felt bad for my opponent. Needless to say, the Pie Plate did its work. Not only did his Laura Lifecaster get sucked into the warp and die a horrible death at Tzeentch's hands, most of the brick died. Strength 10 hits all around. Even my Vampire Lord took a Strength 10 hit. It was brutal. He ends up with about 5 Eternal Guard left. His other caster and his BSB. That was it. That really hurt him a lot. It was unfortunate. It was just bad luck on my opponent's side. He did not try to 6 dice the spell or anything like that. It was just he let off a tactical nuke in the middle of his unit and exploded them badly. And unfortunately, it couldn't have happened at a worse time for my opponent. But what can you do? And then what does he do? In the shooting phase, he's able to slip a wound through on my Titan. I think his Glade Riders fired at him and did some damage. That kind of sucked. And then in combat over here, he doesn't issue a challenge, and I don't issue a challenge, and I just put all my attacks into his caster, killing her. And he's still steadfast. I win this combat. He's still steadfast, and he stays. So we go over here to bottom of 6 after movement, and there's really none. I pretty much just stay where I'm at. During the magic phase and shooting phase, I'm able to take out all but 3 of the Glade Riders, which I feel pretty good about. And then his unit champion or Glade captain, whatever was left, I think it was his BSB, was left in here. He issues a challenge. I knock him into yesterday. He dies. I win this combat by 42. He breaks. I pursue. They get away, but now they need stakes to rally. And I don't think lightning's going to strike twice. And I didn't realize this happened until I was doing the battle report, but we went in the top of 7, giving my opponent another turn. So, yeah. Yeah, I didn't even realize this happened. But his Eternal Guard don't rally, and they end up going off the table, which, honestly, I shouldn't have gotten points for that. I didn't realize it until after the fact. Until I was doing this slideshow, I didn't realize we went into the top of 7, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, his Eternal Guard failed to rally, go off the table, and his Glade Guard, in a last hoorah moment, charged the Titan, just trying to take him out. There's a better picture of his Eternal Guard not rallying. And there's a better picture of his Glade Riders slamming into the Titan, just trying to finish him off. We go straight into combat, and as you can see, it does not go well for the Glade Riders. They beat the tar, or they try to beat the tar to my Titan, who just turns out to be too tough. They lose 2 for their trouble. He charged and has a banner to my 2 wounds. Neither of us know how to hum a tune, so nothing happens. And there's the end of the game, 1 turn too late. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but my catapult failed to do anything the entire game again. Yeah, this will be the last time I field it for a long, long time. The hell with that thing. This was a pretty good game, though. Definitely a good game. I feel bad about top of 7. I shouldn't have gotten points for the Glade Riders, or I'm sorry, the Eternal Guard. So yeah, that was kind of interesting. But again, don't take this one to heart too much. This is still a newer player that was looking for a bit of a baptism by fire, and I don't fault him for that. That's how I learned, and in my opinion, that's the best way to learn. Get your teeth kicked down your throat until something sticks. But yeah, that's what happened in this game, and we'll get to the recap in a minute because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Banners, banners, banners. Get you some banners. Look at the banners. You are never going to be able to get better banners than this. There is no company, there is no talent scout, there is no entity on the planet that's going to get you banners better than this. Custom banners for your custom army. You want better paint scores. You want that little edge that makes your army better than the guy next to you. Sick of running, going to tournaments and getting that paint score that's just a few points lower than the guy that literally sneezes on his army, and you can't figure out why? Get these banners and make your army really pop, really stand out. Send this guy an email, tell him what you want, and get yourself some banners. It's totally worth it. All right, guys and gals, there it is. Token Gal is back, and she's back in full operation mode of making tokens. So if you missed out before she went and got married and became Mrs. Token Gal, or however that works, this is your chance. Get your tokens now. Send her an email. Send her your monies. Get yourself some tokens. They're dirt cheap, solid gold quality. You're not going to be disappointed. Tell her Tremendous sent you. She'll probably know. But yeah, get these tokens. They're so much better than just using dice. They're so much easier to remember everything. You don't have to worry about your cards getting lost, stolen, ripped, torn, whatever. And, they're glass beads, cool high def pictures. Totally worth it. Get yourself some tokens. You won't regret it. And Unleashed Wargaming's painting services is back, guys. I took it down for a little bit while I redid the ad and added some of his newer pictures, but as you can see, he does amazing work. He's based out of the US. He does solid, quality work to all armies. I mean, you saw the pictures, you've seen the quality, you've seen the vibrant colors and the attention to detail and everything. I mean, that banner is free-handed. I mean, how are you not going to like something like that? So if you're like me, and you hate painting, but you don't have an awesome wife to do all your painting for you, give this guy an email, talk to him about what you need, and he's going to knock it out for you. You're not going to be disappointed. You're not going to be embarrassed when you play your army at, your local store, at GTs, or local GTs at your store, or however the heck you want to play. You'll have a painted army. It's going to be a beautifully painted army to your specifications. How can you go wrong? Send him an email, get your army painted, and quit embarrassing yourself. Tell him Tremendous sent you. So, in the end, it was a victory for Lord Tremendous, but I take that with a grain of salt because this was a very, very new player. He's been playing for less than 2 months, and I've been playing for less than a decade, so... But, we still had fun. We were laughing pretty good, and it was still a fun game, all in all. I ended up losing my Dire Wolves, my Hex Race, my Vargeist, and my War Sphinx. He ended up losing his Glade Lord, the special characters Nastra and Arahan, his BSB, his Glade Captain, Spellweaver, Spellsinger, Treeman, Dryads, Glade Guard, Eternal Guard, and Wild Riders. Although, in all fairness, he shouldn't have lost the Eternal Guard, so just ignore that. That didn't really happen. I was told to come after him, though. I typically don't make it a policy to club baby seals, but if my opponent tells me, screw, my experience or whatever, I want you to come at me like I was, table 1, turn 5 at the Masters. It's like, okay, that's what you want, that's what I'll give you. And so I did, and you know what? He held his own. He did not do bad at all. I made a lot of good decisions, capitalized on a lot of things. He just had some real bad luck. The miscast that took out pretty much his entire unit of Eternal Guard. The unfortunate thing with his tree men catching the Casket of Souls and then the Stalkers before he could do anything with them. Just, the fleeing of the Glade Guard and stuff like that. It was just he had a lot of unfortunate things, and I think over time and learning from what he can from this game, I think in the end he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But you know what? I enjoy killing elves, so I'm taking a lot of enjoyment out of that. And after what DHD did to me in the last game, I'm not going to apologize for the genocide I committed on the Wood Elves. I'm not going to do it. The sisters, the special characters, in and out of combat, they are something else. That shooting attack they have is pretty brutal, and to have them on a dragon, I think, would be the way to take them if you're going to take them, and then they would be truly devastating both in combat and out. Those shots they get, like the 6 shots or something that she gets where she gets to reroll it, poisoned at strength 3, and then the other one that does like 3 shots, poisoned with multiple wounds. Holy crap. And if you kill one but not the other, at the end of the turn, or the phase or whatever, they come back. It's like, oh my god. So you have to kill them both in the same phase or they come back, and that's terrifying. I did try to teach my opponent as much as I could. There were some people standing around that were giving advice and stuff like that. But you know what? Dude's got pride, and there's nothing wrong with that. He was adamant about, no, screw that. I'm going to learn. I'm going to figure this out, and the only way I'm going to learn is to get my teeth kicked down my throat. And so, hey, I got a lot of respect for that. You know, a ton of respect for that. I really do like this guy, so I think he's really going to be a lot of fun to get into the game and everything like that. So far, he has been anyway. But you know what? This is a fun game. This opponent has a ton of potential. Needs some ironing out and some tactics and stuff like that. But who didn't? Shoot, I still do, and I've been playing for years. And there's nobody listening to this right now that can argue that. But definitely looking forward to the rematch. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Number 177. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.